Hooked on a feeling. I'm high on believing.
Okay, so here's what's going on today. We're going to be doing a little catch-up session on some movies that we haven't talked about yet.
Little Media Madman catch-up.
So what this is going to be is just like little mini reviews about stuff that we feel either didn't deserve an entire video or something that we wanted to do a video on but didn't have the time.
We're not gonna, you know.
We're not going to yank your chain.
Yeah, not gonna yank your chain. We're just gonna get right into it. Let's go.
Yeah.
What's the worry here, Nick? You've lost some of your talent as an actor?
No.
Sean, we watched The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent, starring Nick Cage and Pedro Pascal.
The great Nick Cage.
And the great Pedro Pascal.
I mean, shit, man. You don't see comedies like this anymore. Like, everything is so, like, I don't know. It's just so cut and dry with so much stuff these days. And this one was like, it was a breath of fresh air. It was original. It was actually really fucking funny.
And yeah, like you said, the comedies, like you don't see a lot of comedies nowadays because people are so afraid to get offended. I know there was some like fuss over like Don't Look Up was like a dark comedy, but it wasn't like the comedy people were expecting, especially from like Adam McKay.
It was kind of funny, but
I looked at it more of a
drama to me.
Yeah, like a satirical drama.
I think this whole administration has completely lost their fucking mind!
But yeah, The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent.
I'd say it was really good.
Yeah, it was a very good comedy script. Basically, Nick Cage plays himself and is befriended by Pedro Pascal, who's like this like war drug lord or whatever.
He's made out to be like the head of some like, I don't know, war dog family or cartel.
Yes, the cartels. And after he befriends Nick Cage and he invites him out to his island, Cage is recruited by the CIA to take him out. Comparisons to the interview, which I was a little bit of afraid of going into the movie, was like, I hope they don't, you know, it's not just like an interview spoof.
I hope they don't overplay it.
Yeah, but they definitely don't. The CIA plot was surprisingly thin, which I think benefited the movie.
Yeah, it got shoved to the side pretty quick, so that really opened up room for old Nicky Cage and Pedro to really get in there.
Really take the spotlight. Yeah. Dude, there's a lot of great comedy set pieces with them. That scene they take acid.
Now you get the hell out of here! You go!
Mr. Cage?
Javi? Buddy.
Hey.
It's literally all just their delivery and and facial expressions.
They're so genuine with it too.
But yeah, not a lot to say about Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent. It was a breath of fresh air for the comedy genre. Comedies just don't do well nowadays. So when a good one comes along, you gotta appreciate
it for sure. So speaking of comedies, you got some that work and some that don't work as well. And you might have heard of a little motion picture called Thor: Love and Thunder.
I need to figure out exactly who I am.
Yeah, this the last Thor Marvel venture came and went pretty fast, and it was definitely Taika Waititi, for better and for worse. For those of you who don't know, he's the director of the film. He also did Ragnarok. The biggest problem with this one for me was that it was like Ragnarok on crack.
But with more like story elements, so they just tried to like push it to the max with everything.
Yeah, the Thor Ragnarok, you have basically one story going on.
Yeah.
This one had several different storylines. Some of them felt rushed. But my main problem with the movie was just the comedy in general. It didn't land for me this go around.
Some of it was good. Most of it was bad.
Marvel movies themselves already have like a lot of jokes in them. They have those comedic undertones to them. It's very lighthearted and fun.
Well, my mom already left for the diner and Dad went to 7-Eleven to get scratchers. I guess he won because that was 6 years ago.
Which happens, Dad's leave. No need to be a pussy about it. Here's what I need.
This one was like double the jokes with a different type of humor, but the humor did not land. I think a part of that is you got Ragnarok, you got Jeff Goldblum, you got Loki, Hulk, a lot of comedic elements for Thor to bounce off of, and in this one you got Natalie Portman.
And she was probably the worst part of the movie. She was just so flat.
She's just not an actress that seems to be very comfortable in comedy.
Apparently they improvise a lot, which I'm really excited about. It's just very funny.
Taika Waititi, he likes to do a lot of improv, and Ragnarok felt like a better balance of improv and sticking to the script.
There was still a lot more of a story to go on there.
Yes.
And this one just felt really loose.
Yes, it felt like it was just rambling improv. Even when there are like serious moments that need to be had, like characters are still acting wacky.
And they're still trying to go more towards the comedy than the drama.
So this is my vow. All gods will die.
Well, I guess we can talk about gore.
Yeah, Christian Bale carried the movie.
Him and Hemsworth carried the movie.
My biggest problem, I texted you this when I saw it too. I swear to God, Gore has like the shortest amount of screen time of any Marvel villain. And they had Christian fucking Bale. Like, they could have done so much more with him. And anytime that he was on screen, it was good.
Yeah, visually, it was also really good. Like the cinematography and like his presentation was all great. His performance was great. His motivations, that opening like prologue set up his motivations.
Pretty cool too.
I like that scene.
It made it really cut and dry what his motivations were and why he was doing what he was doing. But another big problem I had was the fact that they didn't show him killing any gods.
Like, I thought it would have been cool if they had showed him like kill Zeus, and maybe you play Zeus, like you can still play him comedic but a little more serious. You have him kill Thor's hero, kills Thor's hero, then he poses as a threat to Thor. Really good but underutilized villain.
Yeah, 100%.
Oh, and I guess I can also say, like we said, it was Taika Waititi for better and for worse. But I can't appreciate that creative vision does get pushed through.
Yeah.
It was a little too much.
Yeah, it was a little too much, but at least you can see that they're having more of like an imprint on their movies.
Yeah.
Especially after Multiverse of Madness with Sam Raimi.
Yes.
That one was like fucking Sam Raimi stamped and approved.
Well, moving on. Another film came out recently that did not work for me was Jurassic World Dominion.
I wanted to show them something that wasn't an illusion.
Yeah, I didn't even see it. I didn't really give a shit. The trailer just... once I saw the trailer, I was uninterested.
If I could sum the movie up in one word, it would be desperate. I knew it was doomed to be bad because of just the way the second one leaves off with dinosaurs running amok around the world. I was surprised by how bad and desperate it was. So
yeah,
what do you do when your last franchise movie doesn't do so well? You dredge up all the old characters and you bring them back for them to have barely anything to do in the movie.
Yeah, when I saw that they were bringing Sam Neill back, I knew it was doomed. This is not the type of movie where you rehash old characters.
Well, the Jurassic Park as a whole, Spielberg, when he made that first one, the message of that movie is like perfectly solved at the end of the movie.
Yeah, but your scientists were so preoccupied with whether or not they didn't stop to think if they should.
It's a one and done concept.
One and done.
It's one and done concept, and they've dragged it out for the
they're milking it
for the cha-ching.
It's made all the better by the fact that the movie is so good and that the storylines are so surprising and fulfilling, and you're watching the end of the arc that started 30 years ago with these characters from Jurassic Park.
Though I do know the last two did both crack $1 billion, even though the second one was really bad.
Yeah,
I don't think this one cracked $1 billion.
Solid though. Like the first Jurassic Park, the actual first one, Spielberg and Sam Neill, solid.
The first one is probably like a perfect movie for what it sets out to do and what it accomplishes. It's probably a perfect movie.
The effects in that movie just absolutely groundbreaking.
You didn't come out all this way just to catch up now, did you?
You coming or what?
Speaking of Sam Neill, since I didn't see it, what was his effect? Like, how was he alongside Chris Pratt?
So that was, like I said, they brought the original cast back, all for them to have pretty much nothing to do. They had a subplot that didn't even have to do with fucking dinosaurs.
Did they just bring him back in like the last 30 minutes?
No, they were in the movie for pretty much the whole thing, but that was another thing. Too many subplots. Their plots had nothing to do with each other, and then they conveniently meet up at the end to watch a dinosaur fight, and then they go home. But yeah, the very little interaction between Chris Pratt and Sam Neill, very little interaction between them and the original cast, like at all.
Like, how did the scale of this movie impact it? Like, dinosaurs, instead of being just confined into a park, being released into the world, how did that affect the movie?
In terms of how it affected the movie, it was definitely a detriment. They focused more on this Lotus disease plot and Bryce Dallas Howard and Chris Pratt trying to get their kid and Blue's baby back. Yeah, it has nothing to do, basically nothing to do with dinosaurs, and there's only a couple.
If that's how you leave off the last movie, like, how are you just going to completely throw away what you're setting up?
Maybe because there's no more ideas for this stupid franchise.
I fucking guess. Like, they should have thought of that when they made the first one.
As sequels do, or most sequels, they got worse as they went along. Incredibly stupid and almost entertaining ways. I will say that if I could give a high point for Jurassic World Dominion, it's that some parts were so stupid it made me laugh. Like, there was also certain like editing and like staging and blocking things with actors that like didn't make any sense. Like, Chris Pratt is in a fight with this dude in this like mini arena, and then like a dinosaur is like coming, and then Chris Pratt like throws the dude into the dinosaur. The dinosaur starts eating the dude's like head off. Chris Pratt just stands there and looks at it, gets on his phone and is like just sitting there talking like casual. Hey, yo, were you ready to? Yeah. Incredibly stupid.
Nobody will ever notice that. Filmmaking is not about the tiny details. It's about the big picture.
It's made all the better by the fact that the movie is so good.
All right, we are shifting tones here. We're just gonna get straight into it. It's The Northman, one of my like most highly anticipated movies of the year so far.
Same. I was very excited about this movie, directed by Robert Eggers, writer and director of The Witch and The Lighthouse.
If you haven't seen The Lighthouse, you should watch it, because the acting in that movie is a fucking masterclass.
And if I tells you they yank out every single nail from every moulding nail hole and suck off every speck of rust till all them nails sparkle like a sperm whale's pecker, you'll do it! And by God and by golly, you'll do it, smiling lad, because you like it. You like it because I says you will.
Yes, Willem the Goat and
Robbie P.
Robbie P. That's what you call him. Yep. Batman. The Northman. It was a little bit different for a Robert Eggers movie. It was a little more straightforward, definitely abstract in a lot of places.
Definitely more action too.
Yes, a lot of things to infer, more laid out in a straightforward narrative as opposed to his other movies, which are very, abstract.
All over the place.
Yeah, but in a way that works.
Yeah. It was pretty straightforward. Like, you understand what's going on the whole time, and it doesn't get really Robert Eggers until the end.
And you had problems with the climax.
Yeah, I mean, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the movie, but the first act of the movie is really solid and it's really well paced, and then the second act, it drags a little too much for me.
Okay.
There's not a whole lot going on. There's a lot more development. There's development between the Northman and his wife.
Anya Taylor-Joy?
Yeah, like that. It takes a really long time to get into it. And then the third act, it just kind of, I don't know. The dragging of the second act affects the third act for me.
I can see that for sure. The first act is really gripping.
For a foe might be crouched within upon the floor. Wise in measure should each man be, yet wise enough to be the fool.
I do agree with you that those things are prevalent in the movie and that the second act is a lot more slower paced.
When you watch through the first act, it seems like it's a completely different movie in the second act. And that's okay. That's his style, it's his style to redirect and, not really know which way to go.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I still enjoyed it.
I can appreciate when a movie comes along, is a slow burn, but is really well done. I feel like in today's age in cinema, that's a little something to savor. Like we're
yeah, for sure.
We're gonna talk about Nope in a little bit. That's another one. Like when a really well done slow burn,
it's satisfying.
Different movie comes along, it's satisfying. Yeah, but the third act, like, you know, when it does reach its climax, it kind of does feel like, oh, okay, the movie ended now. But it's kind of like at that point, like, what else do you do? It's very revenge story, but the way in which the way the story paces out is definitely and the unique aesthetic.
The aesthetic is one of the best things about the movie.
The cinematography, yeah.
It's in all of his movies, just that really dark, like grayish undertones.
Yes.
Just like real eerie.
Yeah. Yeah, there's that eerie element.
The first time I saw The Witch, I was probably like 16. I rented it from Family Video. Like the first time I watched it, I was just like, I just got this like weird feeling, you know, throughout the whole thing. It's just like something's gonna happen.
Boo!
Yeah, and then the lighthouse is like, it's a mind fuck.
Yeah, it's a mind fucked all the way.
And that's what I liked about The Northman, was that it was more straightforward than his other movies. It's definitely his most accessible movie.
Yeah.
The Witch and the Lighthouse are not for they're great movies, but they're not for everybody.
Pretty selective audience there.
Yeah.
Especially The Lighthouse.